Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Shannon.
Betty White is here with us, and we're back for episode 86 of the Honor Ventures podcast.
We are so thankful you're here. Speaking of being thankful, let's get to our appreciation for the review of the week. We are live, so let's move on.
This review comes to us from Bernardo. Bernardo says, "Great podcast, a must listen for those seeking intentional living. Highly recommend."
Bernardo. Thank you so much. If you all would like to support our podcast like Bernardo did, please leave us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you're listening to us on. It helps to serve us up to others who may enjoy content like ours, like Bernardo did.
Like Bernardo did.
Right.
Today's episode is all about things that we no longer buy as minimalists. Sure, we have had a no-buy year in the past, and we've talked about that, but this is a standard list of things that we do not buy at all anymore.
We thought by sharing it, it would bring you into what the minimalist lifestyle is all about. It's not doom and gloom or a barren existence. We find, in fact, that our lives are more full, right?
Right on. So let's get to it.
Well, we're going to have a top 10 list. We love a list.
We love some lists.
We love a top 10 list. And so what we thought we would do is kind of come up with, in our lifestyle, the top 10 list of things that we no longer buy as minimalists. So do you want to start with the first one?
I will. And this is, I think this is one of the more important ones, impulse purchases. We are more intentional about our buying habits and avoid unnecessary or impulsive purchases.
Yes. So one of the weak spots I used to have is the checkout line. So like when you're waiting to check out wherever you are, grocery store or wherever, and there's all those things. It's either gum or it might be hand sanitizer or
there's no longer a pile of Star magazines sitting up in the corner of our room.
I never gave Star magazine our money, but yeah, I just don't even, I remember it sort of being a struggle at first when we sort of changed our lifestyle and just was more mindful. Now it doesn't even have to become mindful, but if it's something that you want to work on, I would just advise you to be prepared. I'll tell you something that I used to do is I had a book in my purse and I would get the book out if I was waiting in line and just start reading the book. It's a little bit better than staring at your phone. So anything you can do to sort of avoid that. And then as far as like other things are not the checkout line, what we do is we discuss our purchases. So you may remember in a previous episode a few weeks ago, we had about our financial meeting. So we really talk every single day and then have a big weekly meeting where we talk about our expenses, but we do focus and say, you know what, I think we need this. And it would just make us feel sort of weird to go, hey, I bought all this crap in the checkout line the other day. So, you know.
Yeah, well, that's right. And there are reasons that checkout line is tough. They study that stuff.
Yeah,
they know marketing. To put that Reese's peanut butter cup at eye level when when it's the last thing out. And you go, what's one more thing at this point? I got a whole cartload.
Yeah, or not even edible items, but just things that are just going to clutter up your home. They're just unnecessary.
Right. It's not going to break the wheel on the shopping cart. Let me throw it in there.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. Number 2 is trendy or fast fashion. So instead of constantly buying new clothes, we focus on high quality, versatile pieces that fit in sort of a capsule wardrobe. They last longer and they fit our personal style. So a lot of things, actually, I can't even remember the last time we bought brand new clothes. We usually buy them at reuse online stores like Poshmark. We sell a lot of our stuff we don't use anymore or that we didn't use on Poshmark. And with that balance, we use for clothes. So it helps to keep items out of the landfill, which makes us feel a lot better. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we just try to think more about the things that we're purchasing. And is it going to stick around? Is this something I'm going to wear one time? Or is this something for an event? We want to make sure that you can get more use out of it instead of, you know, constantly buying new things that are just going to clutter up your closet.
That's right. Yeah. And that might have been a little tougher for you as a fashion-minded type of well-dressed young lady that you've always been. For me, who's had the same fashion sense since about junior high, it hasn't been too much of a departure for me, what we're doing. But, you know, but anyway. Enough about that. We've done pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Number 3, excessive home decor. We opt for a more minimalist approach to decorating our living space, focusing on essential and meaningful items.
Yeah, and living in a small space as well, we sort of have the tiny living aspect where things serve multiple purposes, just like the clothes, right? We don't just buy things for one use or one event. In our home, we have things that serve different purposes, and I think we feel really good about that. We also, I'm just kind of looking. We used to have all these tchotchke decor things around our house before we downsized, and now it's really decorated with plants, which provide a good,
Yeah.
healthy benefit.
Uh-huh.
So,
And this one's one of my more favorite too, because I think since we downscaled on things, more meaningful items that might have been packed away in an attic back the way we used to live, or way a lot of people probably live, seem to have come out in the forefront more. And meaningful items, stuff that they can
yeah,
be nostalgic or sentimental or whatever, and they kind of sit out now.
that's true. I think
Hmm.
a good point about that is around the holidays. If you've ever seen our vlog, we don't really decorate a whole lot. I mean, we don't feel the need to have a bunch of decoration for just one time a year, but we do think it's important to celebrate the holidays. And so one of the things that we do have means something to us is the nutcracker that your mom gave you.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
really
Hmm.
stands at the forefront now, whereas before, I don't even remember seeing it because it was just in the background of all of our stuff.
Of the mix of all those their Christmas decorations we put up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but of course something like that is the things that come to the forefront once you weed through stuff that has no sentimental meaning. And let's face it, a lot of times when it's Christmas decorations, most stuff is kind of
Yeah.
not old or sentimental. But yeah, you get that nutcracker out there, and that's been around with me, I think, for 40 years probably,
Yeah.
and that's a really cool thing to have out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, number 4, and again, this is so different than our previous lifestyle, but duplicate or rarely used kitchen gadgets. We used to have so much in our kitchen, but what we do now is we regularly declutter our whole house, but especially the kitchen, and only keep the essential tools and appliances we use regularly. One of the things that sometimes I look for, and I realize we don't have anymore, is our like mini food processor to chop up things really quickly. But I think I only look for it maybe once or twice a year. So I'm glad we don't have it. So then I just take a little bit extra time and manually chop it up. Or if things really need to be chopped up, I can pull out the blender and just put it on a different setting. But, we don't have a lot of dishes. The people that have dishes for place settings of 12 and 18, and there's 2 in the house, I mean, to each their own, but we would never have that. Why would
No.
we?
Mm-mm. If we ever have 12 people over for dinner, I'm disappearing for a week. I am
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, we only have what we need. We did a vlog a while back when we first, changed our lifestyle that was called 2 coffee cups.
mhm.
And we at that time only had 2. I think we have maybe 4 now, but
Yeah.
we only had 2 coffee mugs. We don't need 4. But now we do have a select handful of people that come and visit, and we do need a little bit more for people to have some coffee. But yeah, we're not going to have place settings for 5, 6, 8 people or more. That's just,
No, no, we're not. And yeah, and the kitchen is one real point of focus, I think, because kitchen gadgets, as opposed to something else in the house, are usually smaller. And I think it's pretty common for most people to end up with 4 bottle openers or 4 whatever else, and so if you keep weeding through those things, you realize you don't need all that, and somebody else can use them.
yeah,
So
that's
mhm.
true. Well, you want to go to number 5?
Yes, let's go to number 5, and that one's me. Single use or disposable items. We prefer reusable alternatives like metal or glass containers instead of plastic ones.
Yeah. And, we went to glass storage containers back before we sort of transferred to our minimalist lifestyle, just because of the health benefits and the harm that plastic can do when you store things in it for a significant amount of time, or you can't rewarm things in plastic. It's just really harmful to you. So we switched to glass, which was easy. If we buy something that's in a jar with a good lid, we reuse that. It's like, oh, okay, we can keep some snacks in this, or whatever. When we pack, you pack lunch a lot, but when you pack lunch, it's in glass containers with lids. And the other thing really is, and I've started doing this just because I've been on a lot of road travel lately, is if I'm going to stop, let's just say, I remember one day stopping at Publix and having to grab a salad, right? Because I was on the road and I wanted something a little bit healthier. And I had to resort to having a plastic fork. And it bothered me so bad having that now I have a reusable utensil set in my glove compartment that I just use. And if I'm going to be on the road, at least I know it's going to make me feel better. And then I just bring it in and wash it next time I come in. But it just makes me feel better. And, we have these little kits, these travel kits with these reusable straws and utensils that we actually purchased it. We don't ever hardly purchase anything when we're traveling, but we did on the Virgin Voyages cruise. They had them because Virgin Voyages is really great about reducing their carbon footprint in travel. And so they do sell some items that, sort of contribute to a more sustainable way of life. And so we did get a couple of those kits, which have been really handy. I mean, I haven't used a paper straw in forever.
Makes me feel like a Boy Scout with my little,
plastic straw.
Makes me feel good to have that reusable container.
It is very Boy Scout-ish.
Maybe your friend Post Malone can take a note from this and start putting his Bud Light into a metal container
instead of a Solo cup.
Instead of the trademark red Solo cup.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
We'll see. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah. We'll have to start a campaign maybe.
That would. Although that might break Coliseum rules to bring in a glass container or metal container. I don't know. But
that's true.
For him, maybe an exception.
Yeah. Or some kind of biodegradable or something. I don't know.
I think. Well, we've really gone off track here.
Well, number 6 is excessive tech gadgets. So one of the things that obviously we have the podcast, we have our work that show, we have to use digital items. We definitely have tech gadgets, probably not as much as most people in the content creation industry, probably less than most people, period, because we sort of assess what our tech needs are and we avoid buying multiple items or multiple devices that serve similar purposes. I remember in the beginning when we started this podcast, we recorded everything on the cell phone.
We did. Yeah.
We would put it on a tripod and just record, even when we had guests. And we've had to, change a little bit so our quality is better. But we try to look at things like that. We don't have Kindles or e-readers because we can do that on our phone, or the laptop because the laptop sort of folds over and changes to a tablet. So just things like that. If you can do it on your phone and you can live without a computer, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be great?
It would be great. And it works out great for me because I'm like somebody who's been dropped out of a time machine from the 1800s when it comes to tech. So to keep the tech gadgets down really helps me.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. I figured you could.
Yeah. Well, you go to number 7. It's probably my most exciting.
Yeah, number 7 is a good one. And we've been at this for years. Paper towels or paper napkins. Having cloth napkins or cleaning cloths made of old towels and cloth reduces clutter and waste.
Wow. We really, I cannot remember the last time that we bought paper towels or napkins. I can't.
I know. I can't either.
It's been a really long time.
Yep.
When people come over and they're visiting, I think that's probably one of the first things that they're just like, what do you clean with? Well, we've got cloths, that we clean with and then we wash them, or old t-shirts you've had. We use to clean up messes and things like that. But we use cloth napkins. We got a few cloth napkins, I think from IKEA years ago. They're still holding strong. And then I remember one time, I don't know, years ago, seeing on probably one of those checkout lines, a sale rack of these marked down cloth napkins that are not pretty, but who cares? We use them for napkins.
We
So
do.
I got
Yeah.
them for cents. It seems like you could probably also go to Goodwill or a reasonable, consignment shop and get them super cheap.
Right,
know?
right. Yeah. And the fun thing about using old t-shirts to clean with is you can, for one, you're getting a job done, and you're also having a nice reminder that you went to see Duran Duran in 1992. So it kind of serves a dual.
I don't think that has made it to cleaning cloth status. I think that's still my long sleeve t-shirt, right?
I think it is. Yeah, that one's still holding
It was
up.
a little bit later than 92, but
Okay.
but yeah. So number 8, we talked about this a little bit earlier about travel, novelty or souvenir items. When we travel and go places, we prioritize experiences over the material possessions. We avoid buying souvenirs, novelty items, things that lack lasting value. So something that we just talked about, we bought on the Virgin Voyages cruise was the reusable utensil set. We use that. It provides a value for our life. Something else I think we did, I think it was actually Virgin Voyages. No, it was given to us. I was going to say was a wine opener, bottle opener.
Mhm.
And we used that. But so what we did was we got rid of the other ones that we had.
Yep.
And have that because it reminds us of when we were there. But
Right.
other than those two things, I was thinking about this before we got on here. I can't think of any souvenir item that we have purchased in a number of years. And I remember every time we came back, we would have like a little tchotchke sitting around. How many Eiffel Towers did we have sitting around that house before we downsized?
You had
It was a lot.
You had quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But those things don't bring us joy. They don't.
Mm-mm.
It's just stuff we have to dust around. So we just don't have those things anymore. Some people buy t-shirts.
Which some would argue here from what we just said, well, eventually
Yeah,
that
you
works out as one of your cleaning cloths.
That's true. Or
But
if you don't have clothes, it might be good to go, oh, I need a new
You
t-shirt.
might need a new t-shirt.
While I'm in
Yeah.
New York, I will buy an I Love New York t-shirt.
Mhm.
Okay, fine,
Yeah.
But we just don't feel the need in buying it if we don't need it. Another thing you can do here is if you are in New York, I just love the I Love New York t-shirts,
Mhm.
but if you want to buy that shirt, you can in your mind go, okay, what other shirt do I not need and
Yeah.
can get rid of?
Mhm.
And that can sort of minimize the amount of things that you have.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. And if you really do want to look down the road, then you can figure that in 2035 you'll be wiping your countertops with that I Love New York t-shirt.
true.
So it
That
all
is
kind of works out
true.
like that.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
kind of off topic, but not. This week, we had 2 pillowcases that had just been, cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. And after a while, they started like tearing.
Yeah.
These were not Cozy Earth pillowcases. We have those, but they were older before Cozy Earth.
Yeah.
And my first thought was going to be like, oh, let me just trash them. And then I was like, Jer, can we use these for cleaning cloths somehow? He's like, of course we can,
Of
Shannon.
course we can. And we did.
We still do.
Mhm. And we do. We did and we
Okay.
do. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, well, moving right along, non-essential books or magazines. We often borrow books from libraries or read digitally to reduce physical clutter.
Yeah, like that Star magazine you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That does not happen. Yeah, we love some books, and I will say a new book will come out, but I can almost guarantee that someone else will buy it and then I can borrow it from them after. Or our little free library here down by the water on the sidewalk will often have new releases because people locally will read it and then they'll put it in the little free library.
Yeah.
And, my mom will lend me books and she doesn't have a use for them and they'll be brand new. So I'll go and put it in the little free library. We love our actual library.
Yeah, it's a really, for a small town too, it's a really great library.
So if you're in a larger town, I can't even imagine your options.
Mhm.
And also, if our library doesn't have a book that I really want, lots of times they'll put out a request to another library and bring it in, even outside of our county.
Mhm.
So, another thing is to read digitally. There's a lot of free ebooks online that you can sort of borrow from different online websites. And a lot of people have those you can share from them. Like if they have an app, a lot of times the app will let them lend it out to one person until it comes back to their digital library.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one of the things we used to have a lot of was books. And now I think we have the one shelf of the things that, and it's not even a full shelf of books.
We have pared them down, but that shelf, we did pare it down to the essentials. So that shelf looks really good when you look up there. That's a cool lineup of books. And it kind of does add to the decor a little bit, but you don't want to hold all of them, you know, unless you live in a mansion, I guess.
That's right. Have your own library.
Yeah.
But if you have your own library, have people come in and borrow them, because why do you have a home library if you read them? Isn't that a Seinfeld thing of, if you've read the book, why do you still have it?
Yeah.
You know, are you going to read it again? Now you do read books sometimes again.
What's the deal with books you already read?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, number 10 goes back to a little bit about what we've talked about, but not just decor, but it is non-functional or decorative items. So we prioritize functionality, if you haven't heard that already, over excessive decorations, trinkets, ornaments, you know, even curtains. We're not downing curtains if you really like them. We just found that when we had them, it was another thing that accumulated dust. So we went with our like shutter blinds, and they black out, and you know, they last longer. We don't have to worry ourselves about the curtains. But even if it's not that, just things like, you know, some people have a, you know, pretty cabinet, or like a side table that's not really the side table, it's somewhere else in their home and they don't even use it, or it just collects a bunch of things. You know, we just don't have, I feel like we don't have things that we could put things into so much if they don't already serve a purpose, because we would put things into them. I feel like it's sort of like the junk drawer.
Yeah.
You know, a junk drawer just sort of screams out for more junk to be put into it. So we just make sure that the things in our home, they do bring us joy. We have plenty of things that bring us joy, but they're also functional.
Right. Or on a larger scale, the walk-up attic, the kind you walk into, or the 3-car garage. Honestly, in my experience, 80% of the time, I've just seen those things fill with clutter.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and not down in your walk-in attic or your 3-car garage, but it seems like that works out that way a lot.
And we've seen that a lot in our previous business.
Yeah.
We were in people's homes a lot, and you are exposed to the way people live. And just like, I'm sure, you know, people who see our stuff on camera or whatever about how we live online, you know, you can be a little judgmental, but I think we're not trying to be judgmental here. We're just pointing out that there was a lot of people who we were like, oh, they have this giant house and this 3-car garage, and they don't even use their garage for their car because there's so much crap in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Or they forgot they had one particular car because it got buried with crap.
Yeah.
That's an exaggeration.
Well, some of them.
But if you can imagine it, it's believable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of like when my mom had things stored away in her attic before she downsized, her and my stepdad, before they moved to their home now. And when they would say to me, hey, I think this box has a bunch of your stuff in it, I said, get rid of it, because I don't even know what it is. And if I have gone this long and not known what it is, I don't need it. So a lot of people even forget what they've stored away, or in that fancy cabinet in their living room. Once you open the doors, you don't even know what's in there. So just get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not serving a purpose and holding your TV there, or a lamp that you need for reading or something, just get rid of it if you're seeking to downsize.
That's right.
You know? Well, there you have it. Things we no longer buy as minimalists.
Remember that minimalism is a personal lifestyle choice, and the items you choose not to buy will vary based on your values, needs, and goals.
Yep. The key is to be mindful of your purchases and focus on what truly adds value to your life. If you are interested in our declutter challenge, our 30-day declutter challenge, it's free. It will be linked in the show notes. And we have a lot of things coming up with sort of simplifying your life. And, you know, one of the things that we talk about a lot, just want to put this out there before we part, is our mental health and physical health improved when we changed our lifestyle to a more minimal one?
Oh, I would say without a doubt, it's been quite the experience, a rewarding experience. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, well, I think we said there you have it, but there you have
There
it.
you have it.
There you have it.